Hi, I'm Ellen from EVPL Oakland, and I'm really excited about today's project. I'm going to make soap in my kitchen. I've always wanted to try soap making, but I've always been a little hesitant because I know that some methods involve lye and chemical processes and such. But I did find a method that is pretty easy, and it will let me dabble in soap making a little bit before I move on to more sophisticated methods. It's called melt and pour. And that's basically what you do. It's easy because the soap has actually already been made. I went to the local craft store and I bought blocks of clear glycerin soap. For the projects I make today, I used about 2.5 blocks of soap, just to give you an idea of how much. We're going to chop up the soap, melt it down, pour it into molds, add fragrance and coloring, let it harden, and voila, you've got soap. It's that easy. It was a lot of fun to do. I've got a few tips before we get started. Make sure you cover your work surface. I found an old picnic table cover, plastic table cover that I used years ago. I'm going to use that to cover my counters so that I don't have a mess. Everything's going to get covered, your fingers, your utensils, everything's going to get covered with soap. It's going to be a little sticky and gummy, so you want to make sure you protect your work surfaces. Also, when it comes time for cleanup, if you have a lot of bowls and utensils and things covered up in soap and you want to just throw things in the dishwasher, don't. Glycerin soap is not meant for dishwashers. It's way too sudsy, so make sure that you rinse everything off, get all the soap off before you put them in the dishwasher. One craft blogger did not do this, and she warns that she got a very soapy, sudsy mess all over the kitchen floor. Let me show you some of the soaps I made. With cookie cutters, I was able to make some cool shapes. These would be great gifts. They would be great in the guest bathroom, or you know what? Put them in your own bathroom. Use the good soap. This was made with the basic melt and pour method, and then I rearranged some of the steps in the process, and I was able to get a little wild and crazy, and I made some rainbow soap. So, I think we're ready to get started. Ingredients for soap making. A clear soap base found at most craft stores. Soap coloring dyes, also found. At craft store. Essential oils for fragrance, available at most craft stores. To melt and mold the soap, you will need a double boiler or a microwave oven, several microwave-safe mixing bowls and measuring cups, a shallow plastic food storage container, an old loaf baking pan, several spoons, a sharp knife, assorted cookie cutters, and waxed paper. Take your plastic food storage container and line it with a sheet of waxed paper. It's important to have all your molds ready to go. The melted soap will harden very quickly. Cover your cutting board with a sheet of waxed paper into fourths. One-fourth of the soap block will cover the bottom of your food storage container. Chop your soap block into smaller pieces. The smaller the pieces, the faster the melting. place the cut up soap in a microwave safe container and microwave according to package directions. 30 seconds on high power for the first round, and then 10 seconds at a time until the soap has melted. You can also melt the soap with a double boiler. Pour the melted soap into your mold. Add coloring. As much as you would like to get the right color. Stir to mix. Stir gently. We don't want too many bubbles. And add essential oils. As many drops, depending on how strong you want the fragrance to be. Your soap is hardened, but is still a bit soft. You can take the wax paper out of the mold, peel it back to reveal your soap. Remove all the wax paper. Take your cookie cutters and make some soap shapes. Let's make rainbow soap. Line the inside of your loaf pan with one continuous large sheet of wax paper. It needs to be large enough to cover the sides and the bottom of your loaf pan. Fold over the wax paper in the corners to make sure most of the sides are smooth. Avoid wrinkles, as many wrinkles as in your wax paper as possible. This will make a smoother bar of soap. Before you pour the soap into the mold, add your colors for the desired shade you want. Add your colors. And your fragrance. And pour the soap into the loaf pan. tilt around to make sure it goes all the corners. Okay. When the first layer has hardened, that is, your finger doesn't make a dent in it when you press on it, and a little cool, you can pour the next layer. Tilt the pan slightly to make sure the soap goes to all the corners, and let this layer cool. Allow the soap to cool and harden several hours or overnight. You remove the soap from the pan and begin to peel off the waxed paper. Oh, look at the colors. Ooh. Remove all the waxed paper, and there we have our rainbow soap. Some of the soap is curly because of the waxed paper. You can trim that off later. Protect your work surface with a sheet of waxed paper, and you can slice the loaf of rainbow soap any shape you want. You can just slice it like a loaf of bread. And there we have our rainbow soap. Isn't that pretty? And so you can just cut it whatever shape you want, whatever thickness you want. Oh, and there you have your rainbow soap. Trim any rough edges with a paring knife. There you go. And there you have your rainbow soap. Slippery.